Hey everyone, good morning.
Good morning, Praveen.
So we'll get started in the next couple of minutes.
Hi, good morning, Praveen. How are you feeling now?
Not so good.
Okay.
Anybody is there?
Who was that?
Hi, Banu. We all are waiting for you only. Come.
Babu. Babu, you're in?
Yeah, we all are in. We all are in.
Okay guys, so I guess we can get started. So that's better. Put everyone on mute. So today we'll try to understand something called as propagation.
Praveen, we are not able to see your screen yet. Yeah, now we got it.
Right, so we'll start with something called as propagation. Okay, so propagation, the fundamental basic point is so the data that we have in foundation has to be available at the employee level, and if there is some data that you think that can be filled by the system itself, so the concept of doing this one is propagation. So it's like comparing with your SAP or something else. It's like defaulting some data based on your foundation object data. Like let's say for example, when you go and take location, when I select location, time zone field is filled automatically, right? In our job information. So this is a propagation, and usually there is a propagation data model which does this one. But now once we see that the data is moving to MDF, so usually this has to be done through rules. So there can be rules that can be defined at a field level which will default the value. So today we'll try to see how this works with the existing foundation objects that are available in uh, our corporate data model still, and also we'll see how this works in the current scenario of migrated foundation objects as well. So we have to see both the available options to understand. So your batch is kind of tricky batch, I would say, because it's like you are in the middle of things, because in last batch nothing moved except cost center, so for them it's always the same like previously. But now you are in between the migration phase, so now you have half of them moved to my MDF and half of them still exist in corporate data model. So it's like you're in between. So you need to bit focus on the future also. So try to see if whatever we're trying to learn, you also try to see or kind of envision how it looks in the future. So in the future, mostly it might be MDF, right? So in that case, we might have to deal with it in the rules. But for now, so let's simply just go and see how it works in both the cases. So to understand propagation better, I usually explain this. A dot B is equal to C dot D. This is very simple to understand. A is foundation object. B is a field in foundation object. C is an employment object. D field in employment object. That means the foundation object field B, so the field B from foundation object A will be propagated to field D in foundation object C. Okay, so when I select this foundation object, for example, location is a foundation object. So when I put location, it automatically triggers the field B into a different field in employment object. So that's what the concept says. Okay, A dot B is to C dot D. That's nothing but a field from foundation object would be triggered or would be propagated in the field in the employment object. That's what propagation means. So quickly going into the system, and let's say we go to someone.
Praveen Panikkar this side, Praveen. Praveen, when I'm actually hiring an employee, I'm getting an error message, Praveen. Actually, I'm getting country specific XML does not have the configuration for country 1590.
What is country 1590?
Yep. Country specific 1590. Country specific XML file does not have configuration for country 1590. When I'm actually going to hire a new employee, I'm getting this
So
error
where are
message.
you hiring a new employee?
I'm just going to the tool
Location.
search and add new employee
Yeah, which company are you trying to hire him in?
for USA country.
Which legal entity?
I actually created a legal entity called Dell underscore INC.
So can you please check if you have properly maintained everything in that one? Because it's sometimes maybe because of incorrect configuration that you have within your foundation objects.
Okay.
So right now, let's say for example, Dallas is not Eastern, it's usually Central. Just to show how it actually changes, I made that change some time back. So for example, let's say I put New York. It's okay. It doesn't change to Central. So let's say I move to Houston. It should change to Central. It's not working. Okay, no problem. We'll put something else. It changes now. There is incorrect configuration for Dallas and Houston. So you see, assign Matthew, I changed it and it moved to Pacific time zone. This has a direct impact. If you look at then San Francisco might not change. So Atlanta. So it moved back to Eastern if you look at it. So this one is auto-populating based on the location. So the time zone is changing. Obviously time zone is defined in the location foundation object. And the data should come from the location object that we're choosing. So that's one of the concept of propagation. Similarly, for example, let's say I take let's say I take
Praveen,
yes.
yeah, this is Suresh. While you are in the screen, can I ask you a question? You don't have to answer right now, but I mean, just because if we are going back and forth screens, so it's taking time. So that, see,
No problem.
okay, on the screen, the above section says organization, right? Organization details, and that organization details, we have a company code, right? That company code is when you it is a drop down, right? And when we do a drop down, we get the list of the companies. That means those are the legal entities, right?
Right.
So, I mean, what is the relation between this company code and legal entity? I mean, is it now this is a company code is a foundation object, right? Legal entity. Company code is a label, but against this legal entity should be the, what do you call, the object which is assigned to that, right?
Right.
Okay. So, okay. Now my next question is where do we see that assignment?
Okay.
I mean, you can tell me later.
So,
I don't know whether we are yet to go there or not. We are
no,
covered.
actually we crossed that part. I mean, who would like to answer this? Because this was discussed. I think some people had some questions on that, and we did a long discussion as well around it.
Okay.
So who would like to answer this? Anyone? How do you see the list of companies here tagged to this field called company code?
Okay. I mean, Shag, can I say what I noticed?
Mm-hmm.
So when we go to manage business organization, manage business configuration,
Mm-hmm.
you have this portlet, all employee job info. In the job info, we have this field, and that field, when you click on the details, it should show that, right?
It should show that it could say foundation object, and the valid sources usually it should be
Yeah.
the company, but the field itself actually for company legal entity, it says company. Remember the field that I
Yes.
use in the job info is company itself. Company itself is nothing but the ID from your legal entity. So I'm directly putting it. Similar location. So location entity is nothing but a foundation object which is coming from the location. So we just directly put the IDs of your foundation objects as fields, and the label of that field can be anything.
Okay. Label can be anything, but the field HRIS field is company, right?
Company, which is nothing but the ID of your legal entity.
ID of legal entity. Okay. But in that when you click on the details, that it does not say it is referring to a foundation object, right? It's
Just because it's a ID itself is mapped to it. Whereas let's say I create a custom string and you want to map it to location, then you say the field is a foundation object and the source is location.
okay. So in this case, it is ID. Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. I don't know. There's looks like a problem with the system. It's not working. Let's try one more time quickly, because we're able to see the location propagating time zone, at least some example, but we'll try to see one more better example so that who's end. May I know who just joined? There's someone called end. I don't know guys, at least let me see if I can put something. It's not opening up. Someone just joined. May I know who's it? It just says end. System, yes. Not sure if I can do this. Others are facing the same problem, guys, in your system? Can someone see if they can actually try in the system? If you're able to at least navigate around quickly, maybe I can quickly show in your system. Another example. We saw one, but I would like to show more to understand better what is propagation, and then we go to defining it, because it doesn't help this way. It's pretty slow. It's loading. Can someone try? Maybe it's Raish or someone.
Actually, my admin 2, its password, I don't know that, you said like 2 days back that somebody changed password. I haven't got the update, so it's not allowing me to log in.
It's on the class itself, I guess. It said it's hello123 again with a capital H.
Oh, I see. Okay. Let me try.
Anyone? Is it working for you guys? Because this is ridiculously slow.
No, not.
So let's at least meanwhile go back to XML. I don't think our system is supporting us. There was a huge complaint raised to SAP because customers are facing at least the partners, right? When we do this sales demos to the customers, at least customers could not, at least they're not happy because, it's so slow and they think these our systems work the same way. So all these partners went to SAP recently and said, okay, your sales demos are not doing any favor to us. Actually, it's even the worst. They're screwing us because the customer might be interested to see the system, but the way it works is quite slow, and a lot of people are not so happy with it. So then what they did recently was all the customer, all the partner related sales demos, they moved to a different server. And we have to see it. Right, so I hope you guys can see my screen now. So other things moved to MDF, as I said, but we have few things which can be used in, which we can still refer the old XML format. Like for example, I'll show you what is what actually. So we'll start with location.
It's working fine, Praveen.
Working fine.
Yeah, it's working fine.
Cool. So I'll make Rajesh then as a presenter. You're so where are you, Rajiv? Rajiv is here, but Rajesh. I don't know. I can't make you the presenter, Rajesh. I don't know why. Maybe using you're quite okay. I cannot make you the presenter. Anyone else can, I can see others in the list, but not you. Maybe that's why it's working for you. So maybe, Rajiv, it works for you?
I haven't tried, Praveen.
Can you try please? Because this looks quite slow for us. I can explain you. I even say issue someone if it's working for you. And if you're in the system already.
Yeah.
Praveen, I'm just lying in my tab, so it's working fine. Because I did not open in my laptop, so I've just opened in my tab. It's working fine. It's working fast also.
Okay.
Yeah. Praveen, can you try me as presenter so that I can give you access to my screen and system?
Yeah, maybe you can just navigate. I can guide you. So I'm you in the presenter now.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So is there a way that I can give control to you?
There is a way.
Which one do I click to give control to you?
Requested.
Yes.
So we'll say this employee and see how it is. Maybe So we're going to employment information to see the propagation example with one more example so that you guys can understand it better. So ideally it should propagate some values coming from your foundation objects into your employee data. So that's all we try to do in propagation. So I see this propagation data model will become obsolete soon, because since everything is moving to MDF, this would not be available anymore. So it should be done through rules. So I would say concentrate more on MDF rules than propagation data model, because by next release I doubt if these things would be there. Okay, so this is quite better at least. So we should have taken over the control again.
Nope.
You're navigating, so I'm losing control.
No, I'm not. I have a screen in front of me saying that give keyboard and mouse control, and I said yes.
Yeah, and taken over.
No.
Okay, maybe you can navigate. That's better. So can you go to job and say put a different job code?
Job.
It's a little bit above. Job classification.
I think that field has some problem. Praveen, last week we were talking about, like you were mentioning that a lot of customers are facing the issue after moving these other 4 objects to MDF. They have some associations issue. Did SAP fix those, and did they?
Yeah, they came up with a solution for that actually. That's a good one actually. Suresh? So what we have to do is we need to make that field as a parent. I mean, parent in the sense a source field by using some code in succession data model. If you leave it as is right now, the way it is, what happens is there is a association dependency from the bottom. So for example, if at all I have to select the legal entity, I have to select the cost center. That was the problem that came up after the upgrade. Right now what we have to do is we need to put some condition which says the source is a legal entity. So that means we can start with the legal entity first.
I see. Okay.
So I'll show you. I don't have the code right now readily available in my computer, but I have it in my other machine. Okay, I can share it with you guys in the next class as well. That's a good point actually, because these are the things that you can talk when you go to your interviews. You know, because if they're already in the system, they already might have faced this issue. Everyone, almost everyone.
Yeah, I mean, what I thought is that, like, legal entity has direct relation with the cost center, right?
Right.
So what if we move the legal entity to little bit up before, say, right now we have it like company code, business unit, cost division, department, location, and cost center. So instead of cost center having at the bottom, if we move right above the business unit, so after company code, the cost center can be selected, and based on cost center, the cost center has the association with business unit and department.
No, it's not that way. Actually, the relationship that the system has usually, legal entity sits on the top. Okay, cost centers belong to certain legal entities, as well as it might be associated with a department combination. So a combination of legal entity and department might give a cost center.
Legal
So
entity.
not just that you move it to the top and okay, first go and select cost center. No, it doesn't make sense because let's say you select a cost center which belongs to different legal entity. Let's say IBM India, and you want to hire an employee in IBM USA. How do you search thousands of cost centers?
I see. Okay.
So it doesn't work. Actually, I would like to first hire a person to, and also you hire an employee. You remember when you start hiring, you hire an employee with the legal entities, and it's a problem. Actually, it's quite a problem with customers, which we were able to fix at least now. So that's
Problem.
you are facing the same problem, Suresh. It's nothing
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. So you have the control now.
But what can I do?
Have another tab if you want to.
So let's try and.
See, there's no results.
Hey Praveen, this is Rajiv. Because of these performance issues, are the clients moving on to the HANA cloud platform also?
I don't think so. It has anything to do with HANA Cloud Platform.
What I've heard is that HANA cloud platform is pretty quick, very fast.
But why would success factors go to HANA Cloud Platform?
That's what I've heard.
Really? No, I don't see any relationship
So
actually.
HANA for cloud platform.
I don't know. I don't think so at least.
Okay.
Because if I bought success factors and they sold it as cloud, I expect it to be there. Okay, I don't need a dependency on HANA Cloud. You see my point?
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't make sense, right?
So I've seen like many clients on especially on the on-premise ERP systems.
Mm-hmm.
They are moving on to the HANA platform.
Mm-hmm.
And the same way I've heard SAP is out with the HANA cloud platform, which is improvising on the speeds and various other issues of the current,
Yeah, but HANA Cloud Platform you usually use it for your what is that called? On-premise database, right? So your database is migrated to HANA Cloud database. That's why there could be performance improvements and everything. Success Factors is not in your database. It's with SAP.
yeah.
And I don't think they would install Success Factors and ask this data to be stored in SAP HANA database of yours. No, that doesn't work that way. It still is with SAP, right?
Okay, so maybe I need to investigate some more on this. Okay.
At least I don't see a logic between both of them because HANA Cloud Platform is used to extend the functionality of standard success factors. It's used to build extensions but not to improvise the performance at least.
Okay.
This is ridiculously slow, guys. I'm so sorry.
Praveen, the other fields are working, only the job classification is not working properly as it is buffering and it's not coming the result.
Okay.
President operations VP, but the drop down is not coming, it's still buffering. But other fields are working like pay grade, time zone, only there's a problem with the tab.
Okay. So let's change something else then. What can we change? See, the example is could be anything functionally. Let's say, for example, I change the position of an employee. So let's say this position could be no, I'm sorry. Let's say I just take this example once. That's fine, but so if you look at it, so when I selected position object as a base, you see the department has changed, location has changed, cost center has changed. Obviously when I change location, time zone changed, your supervisor changed, job classification changed, and with job classification it changes job title, full-time employment. All the ones in blue that you see are all changed. So that's nothing but a propagation. So the propagation is nothing but it's propagating the data. It's defaulting the data based on your position that you've chosen. So similarly, I mean, just for you to understand. So when you choose this job information here, it might change something. Okay, don't go to job. Obviously, it's not working. So when I go and change job, it's going to change the job title, local job title, pay grades, and any of those values that are mapped to it. Okay, so these are coming from rules, and as well as these are coming from our propagation data model. And I hope you guys can see my screen. Right, so if you look at it here, so this one is an example of propagation. So this one, take this one, okay, forget about this one. You take this example so that you guys can understand. So what currently we have is a job code. So this is A, foundation object job code, and this one is closed. So if you see this field called name is B, A.B. So the foundation object job code field name is name. That's nothing but job title, obviously. So it has to be put in the destination field ID of job title. In the HRIS element, job info. This is what it says. So what is it talking about? Is you have this object called job code, which has a field name, right? And the field name is propagated to the ID called job title, and in the HRIS element, into the HRIS element ID, job info. That's nothing but you're putting job code, this job code object. In this, it has name, field, and you're putting it in job info, and in the field called job title. So this is what the system is saying. So in order to understand this, what you guys can do is either you can go to data models again. Let's say I can show you this way. So this is succession data model.
Hi sir, this is
So this is our
Sorry for
seed.
disturbing you.
Yes, go ahead please.
Sir, is there any chance to do with without provisioning these rules?
Of course you can.
Thank you sir, sorry for disturbing.
We can do that. No problem. So we can. I'll be showing you both the options as I said. Because this one is becoming obsolete. If you look at it, everything has moved. Okay, you don't see anything. Previously this was a big one. Now I don't see much because they all moved. They all moved out of this one. So you still see this, for example, legal entity, and you see this one. So this one is also deactivated because they're using a rule. Okay, and for example, I deactivate the comment. So if you look at it, this is propagate foundation object foundation element ID called location. and the time field ID is time zone, and the destination is job info. The field ID is time zone. Okay, so this is what it says. Field ID is time zone, and the element ID is job info. Maybe if you see this as this problem, I can put it this way. Right, so you see this one, right? Because okay, so if you look at this one, propagate foundation element ID location. This is object. This is a field ID called time zone, and this is also a field called time zone, and the object is job info. So we'll quickly open them in our XML pad. Alright, so we have all the objects in our hand now. So let's quickly go to job info. This is the HRS element ID. So when I go to job info, so more or less all the propagations are available in job info only. So now what we have here is a time zone field. So this time zone field from the object job info, you see this one. So this says time zone is a destination field in the element called job info. See this carefully. It's the same. It's job info here, and the field is time zone. Okay, so this is propagating from our foundation element called location, and the field ID there is location. So if you go into our corporate data model and go to our location, so in location what we have is a time zone field. So this location time zone field from object location is propagated into time zone field in job info, is what propagation is doing. And remember, you have to put some basic functional text here which says, so this is your a dot external code. This is always constant. If you look at it, location dot external code, and the field HRS field is job info dot location. So this is something that you need to put, job info dot again a. So it's c dot a dot external code to c dot a is what you put. That's standard across the objects. There is a standard formatting that we have to do, but this is an important aspect of propagation. So foundation element ID is your foundation object A, and the field ID is nothing but B, the field from foundation object, which is propagated to time zone field of your HRS element ID job info. So what is the other option that we have? So now let's say all this legal entity and everything moved to migration of them, so we cannot make much much of these values in this because, for example, you have this legal entity thing, right? So we have legal entity and standard weekly hours, country of registration has been moved to MDF now. So these are these became obsolete, to be honest. So these are not working for us. But still, if you look at it, they put legal entity, which is the latest MDF object, but you can also write a rule which can do that for you. But putting more and more rules would impact the performance, but still that should be fine if it's only few. But don't run into hundreds of rules at one place. So for example, I go to our location just to show the continuation of what we're doing. So let's say, for example, you select a location called So you see the sign, Matthew? So with that propagation rule, so whenever you select a location here, whenever you select location job info, the fields from this object will be propagated.
Sorry for disturbance, Praveen, Manoj here. I think Ashwin is not able to see your screen. I think you made him logged out from the meeting.
No, not really. I did not.
Yeah, he just paying to inform you. Ashwin,
No, I did not do anything.
Okay, fine. Okay.
No, I did not. I saw Ashwini in the class till now. I don't know. And I did not touch it as well because I'm struggling with this one itself. So can you ask him to try joining, please? See, I can stop someone from joining actually. After joining only, I can usually see the people. This is horrible, guys.
Sir, is there any mechanization system is so slow?
I don't know. But it's quite slow actually.
Very slow, so not quite slow.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing, but as I said, right, so the 1505 impact is quite high on the system. Unlike any other release, this is quite impacted, even for customers.
Praveen, Babu here.
Yes, Babu.
Yeah, once suppose let's say we went for a live, okay, and like where does user use this is regular transactions with like what we do usually in SAP? Like he'll use the instance only, or will he have any separate like with the restrictions or something like that? We are going to give access, and and following that, you have any like in your previous experiences, any end user documents, how the user going to use the system? Like we do give usually end user documents, right? Does practice will be there here in SA?
So usually, I mean, your user manuals or even the end user training that we do, from a trainer perspective, they have to show them how or who they're going to manage. And also it's important from a company's perspective to have a support team or also someone from internally supporting your systems. There should be appropriate authorizations, I would say. I mean, you can't simply ask anyone to maintain the system, right? And if you ask, we are going to create the manuals, maybe not. We don't do it, at least for everything.
Yeah. Okay. And will they use this same instance only, even users also, but with restricted authorizations, you mean to say?
Of course, I mean, there won't be multiple instances, right?
Yeah.
So they'll use the same instance.
Okay.
Ravi?
Hello.
Yes,
Could you hear me, Praveen? Yeah.
I can.
Actually, for past 10 minutes, 10 to 15, 10 minutes or more than that, our screen just froze. We are seeing the same screen. I don't. Then all of a sudden, that I thought that somebody logged me out or something like that. Then it showed that you are logged out from the
Logged
session.
you out actually. No one logged you out because I'm the only one who can do it. So for the last 10 minutes, we are also struggling to see what we can do. So it is not working actually. The system is not working for us. I don't know. It's taking more time than usual.
Would we have a recap of the same thing in tomorrow or something like that? Because today the system is so slow.
Of course. Obviously, I can't say we're done with this one because
Probably
it's
this is
not.
Kanchan. I think maybe you. Probably this is Kanchan. I think I'm also a little bit getting problem. I think maybe today you may finish in 1 hour. Maybe tomorrow you can do instead of, maybe that would. I'm just giving maybe my opinion.
Yeah, maybe that's better as well because it's rather wasting time here because waiting for the system to load because the system performance is very poor today.
Yeah. Maybe tomorrow would be better, and maybe you can go
No,
through
it does
some
not
of the
help us
stuff.
also. I'm thinking that at the beginning itself, after 15-20 minutes. But I thought since everyone is here, let's not waste the people's time. So that's why I was trying to see how we can at least continue. But you guys are right. Maybe we can stop so that at least
It will be better.
we have a better experience tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, Praveen. Well, if today's class could be continuing tomorrow, then it would be okay because from
Of course,
this
I'll
I
continue. Actually, it's not like we're done here. Okay, it's not that way. It never works that way. We'll of course
okay,
continue.
fine.
Yeah, Praveen Gayatri here.
Yes, Gayatri.
Yeah, actually, it's a request to all of us. Like, can we make this whatever the question session of 15 minutes, like before the class ends, so that the flow doesn't go away. If we are going to a different track and coming back again.
So to put her question maybe better, I mean, she is trying to see if we can push all her questions maybe at the beginning of the session or at the end of the session.
That actually really a good idea, actually, from my opinion. Actually.
Yeah,
You will not be distracted, Praveen, and you can focus on the things you are showing, and other people as well.
Yeah,
Exactly, that is what I want to see. Actually, we are going in a different track again to come back. The flow goes off. It's like.
I also agree with that.
So or else, Manoj, or else we can just write an email to Praveen, what are the queries that we have, so that, so we can see the lot of configurations and other things in system. And queries can be emailed to Praveen so he can able to answer in the form.
Sorry to say, let's better like say instead of waiting or get send a mail approvals instead of that, maybe let's close that. Then probably we can look forward instead of keeping ourselves in a dilemma. Next, whatever is going to happen, we can focus on that. If we clear yourself then and there, I feel.
Praveen, are you there?
Hello?
Or? I think we lost Praveen. Hello, Praveen.
Hello, Praveen.
Praveen, maybe
Developers
lockdown.
alone.
Maybe lockdown.
I think it's a drop down.
No, it won't be.
Praveen?
I think he lost his connection.
No, I think he's answering someone to the class in the classroom itself.
Gauri, Praveen is waiting for you unless you continue not logging. Hello.
Is it Praveen's screen or somebody else's screen?
This is Praveen's screen, I think, but it's got blocked. I'm not sure like what happened.
It's Praveen's screen only, but I think it's got struck, it seems.
Yeah. Yeah, now it got navigated again to the home page.
I think he might be checking what people talk in his absence. Praveen, you there?
Finally, I got my audio back.
Great.
So someone threw me out and put me on mute. So yeah, sorry guys. I was trying to connect and it took this long to get connected. Anyway, I agree with you, Gayatri. If you'd like to put your questions to one place, that's fine. But if it's something, it's a point to be discussed there. I don't stop someone to ask questions because we tend to forget the questions also. That's important that we keep that in mind because I mean, for me at least, that's how I feel. After maybe half an hour, I just maybe have the same kind of importance for the question anymore that I might have at that point. So sometimes, I mean, sometimes we can put it to the beginning or the end.
The main topics would bounce if we don't figure at the end.
Exactly, yeah. I don't stop someone to ask a question, but if you think that the question can be discussed after because you don't feel it's not related, maybe then it's a good thing to put it after or before.
It's true.
But if you think the question is about the point that we're discussing and it's important, I would definitely prefer someone asking right away because it's very important to get your concepts clear.
It's true.
Right, so
Hi Praveen.
Yes, Suresh.
This is Suresh. You have a couple of minutes.
Okay.
Can you make me presenter? I have a question on the screen which I brought up.
Sure. Yep, you're the presenter.
Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, this is legal entity, object definition and legal entity, right? When it is moved from corporate data model to here, right?
Right.
Okay. So this is what the screen. These are the fields, right? Bottom.
Of course. Yes.
Yes. Okay. My question is now see in manage business configuration. I am in job info. I am in company. Okay, this is the company and the company identifier, company code, and this is a string, kind of like company code string, and right. This is what we are we are looking at, I mean, when we are getting the drop down, right? All the company names, right? Okay. So my question is, and you mentioned that yes, this is a company. The company is an identifier, and it is a part of the legal entity, right? That's what I am understanding. And so, which field is it? Like I tried to look into.
It's usually the code of the object. So before it's moved to this, okay, so not external code. External code is for creation. The object code, if you look at it, the legal entity that you see in caps or L and on the top, move on to the top. So I'm sure that something could be usually put in, so not the label, okay, the code.
Okay, this one.
So that's the one. So this company or legal entity is recently migrated to MDF. So I'm not sure what kind of logic that they put in the backend configuration from the product side to link it to company ID. Usually, previously, if you open your old corporate data model, so the company that you see is nothing but the ID also for a legal entity.
Company.
So I sent you some old corporate data model. If you can open it, I can show you.
You mean here instead of legal entity, it was COMPANY. Is that
right?
Is that you are saying?
That's right. Yes. So instead of legal entity, it was company. Now since it's migrated, so I'm not sure how they mapped it in the backend, but still the company is the legal entity in the standard SUCCESSFACTORS system. So wherever you put ID or a field name called company, that's actually means legal entity.
So so there is a field called company, like custom string 1, custom string, custom long 1. So there is a field company, right?
Right. Yes.
That is. So they created. Okay, that's a data type. Okay. Custom.
Yes. So it's a field that's already mapped by SUCCESSFACTORS. Let me see if I can show you. A SIP, right? A SIP corporate. So I'm showing you some old corporate data model that I have with me. Okay, so can I take the presenting access?
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Can you see my screen here? So this is a corporate data model, the old one. So if you see the HRIS element ID, it's actually company. And remember, this ID is always unique in the whole SUCCESSFACTORS. It's always unique. So if you are referring to company in your field level, you're actually referring to this object.
Okay, but you see, if you go to a corporate data, say you open the corporate data model. In the corporate data model, you still have that legal entity and element ID also as legal entity, right?
No, you see it as company. You don't see it as legal entity. So don't go with your labels. You see, you have to go with these ones.
Right. Oh yeah, I understand. Okay. No, you are in corporate data model, company code.
See, it can be any label here on the right side. I can put anything. I can put your name also. So it doesn't matter for the system.
Right.
So SUCCESSFACTORS doesn't care about labels because it's what we see. But from a back-end technical system perspective, it's actually this. It's mapped to this. And if you look at business unit, it's actually mapped to this. That's done in the back-end because it's a standard product. Obviously, it's mapped. But anything new that you create, let's say for example, you create a new object called, let's say operating unit. Okay, you create it in MDF and you consider that is part of foundation objects for you in the business structure. Then if you would like to put that in your job info, let's say you create a field called custom string or whatever it is, and then you select it as, let's say, generic object, and in the source you give the object ID.
That object ID as the one which I created.
Yes.
Okay.
That's how it maps.
Okay, okay. The reason I got confused is because I did not see any company identification, the string company, or you know what I mean, COMPANY in this legal entity which I showed you. So then I got confused.
That's because it's a latest migration stuff, as I said. There are too many changes to the standard product. That's how, at least before your batch, or before 1505, this is what SUCCESSFACTORS standard is.
Correct. Okay.
Since they migrated, so the problem is they have to keep everything in sync. So that's where they might have put some back-end logics in the system, which is still mapped.
Okay. 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 Yeah. And if you have a couple of minutes more, can you show me that the solution you tried for this associations?
That I have on a different system. Actually, I have to log in.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
I'll show you tomorrow.
No problem.
Okay. It's some code that we need to put in the succession data model.
Sure.
So it's simple. Actually, there is a source element. So there is something called as field criteria that we need to put.
I see. Okay.
So if you just would like to read it before you see it tomorrow, you can go to your EC to MDF handbook that I sent and open something called as field criteria. There is some text which explains, but not the actual code that you need to put. Okay, just read it before tomorrow's session so that I can explain you tomorrow.
Yep, sure. I have it open. Okay, guys. Okay. Thank you.
There's something called as field criteria. Okay. So in whichever way you maintain your associations, we can actually make something the parent. That's what it says.
Okay. Thank you.
So you have to read a lot of stuff if you need to keep updated, up to date. Because the CCTMDF object handbook was recently released, and if you don't read it, you're gone. As I said, it's quite different. I mean, it's quite difficult in SUCCESSFACTORS space to be up to date.
Field criteria have been added or updated for HRA field in data model.
So someone was asking a question or something? Or someone asking my name? Someone has a question? Okay, if you guys don't have anything, maybe we can stop and we can catch up tomorrow.
Yeah, Praveen, are we going to discuss about cascading pick list?
So cascading pick list we discussed, right? So you have this parent field ID where you need to put the option ID of your parent object. That's called a cascading pick list.
Oh, okay, okay.
Because cascading is nothing but two pick lists joining together, and you have a dependency. Like for example, you select country, and the states should follow the country. So that's a cascading pick list.
Yeah, I remember that when you said that, like you said that right as of that day you mentioned SUCCESSFACTORS is supporting one level of parent-child relation only, right? So
now with the MDF, they're trying to come up with it. I still have to check if it actually works with 3-4 layers of things.
Okay.
At least I did not try in the system, never got time to do it.
Right.
I still think it supports one layer, but not sure because MDF is quite powerful. It can support any levels actually.
Yeah. Everything we have to practice. We should get a good scenario to work and practice it.
I mean, you have to, otherwise, as I said, right, for me, I have to prepare every day, otherwise it won't work, because I have a couple of hats, at least one is training people, another one, of course, delivering stuff that I have to.
Right.
So, and I'm also most probably taking another role within my customer, so I'll be more of business consultant, trying to advise them on improving their system, whatever they're trying to use and how they can enhance this one. So that's still under review, but so I have to put multiple hats there as well. One, implementing the solution. Second one is continuously improvising how we can help customer improve their HR processes.
Right.
So it's quite a difficult area, at least at this point, with so much of transformation in the product. It's quite tough, challenging as well to keep yourself up to date with the product in the first place.
Exactly.
Because something, the way it worked yesterday might not work the same way today.
Yeah.
So if someone learned EC 2012 or 13, and if they want to implement it now because they did not get a chance and they were busy in something, they can't do it.
Yeah, and another thing, like certifications. So somebody was done 1502 or 1405 or 14 whatever the previous certification, and after a few months, if they say that 1505 means all questions are more on MDF, right?
Of course, yes.
Yeah. So it's tough. Okay. Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough to be on the run, actually.
Yes. Anyway.
I hope this product gets stabilized soon, but I don't see it at least for the next 2 years, looking at the roadmap.
And another thing, what do you think about the performance, like this, the processing, the round, and so
that's something that definitely that they have to improve, because
they have to improve,
otherwise they can't be in this business.
Right, exactly.
For customers, at least it's quite okay. I mean, at least not the way we see, but for sales demos, it's screwed. Because there are too many people with sales demo systems, and that's they put everything in the one roof, which is the fault. Actually, they're putting the customers and regular sales demos in DC4, which is become overloaded now, I would say.
I see.
So they have to come up with either expanding their stuff or moving these things to different data centers. So it's something that they have to work. I'm thinking even SAP might not have expected such a response.
Right. Yeah, and that too. Until now, the SAP customers, they are with the on-premise. They did not have much. The response was quick, right? Because it's local database, so they have it very quickly. And now it is cloud and internet and.
Yeah, it also depends on a lot of factors again. Your internet connection, if customer has a different connection and they have a problem, it stops. So
number of users and
users logging in at the same time, working on the same object, all impacts.
And moreover, in nowadays, everybody is on Wi-Fi. Not previously, everybody has RJ connections.
Right.
Now everybody is on Wi-Fi.
Right.
That is also another burden.
So we are in obviously in a client meeting, okay, with the top people of customer and customer, what we call. So their Wi-Fi stopped working for almost half an hour.
That's true. Yeah.
Just think about 10 people in a room. All of them are like lead consultants, senior people, and if you lose half an hour of their time, it's like you pay around 200, 300, let's say euros an hour. So 10 into at least half an hour, it's like you lost 1,000 euros there.
Right. Yeah.
And more importantly, some important meeting, and you won't get the time again.
Right.
So these things are all impacting, all cascades actually.
Let's see how SAP handles the situation.
They already know that we're all facing these issues because that has been communicated.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Praveen.
Thank you, guys. If you guys don't have anything, maybe we can catch up tomorrow.
Sure. Suresh Babu here.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, Suresh, hope you are in India, right?
No, he's not.
No.
Okay, can I have your mail ID, Suresh? I just would like to interact with you something. We will talk something later.
Sure. If Praveen doesn't mind, sure, definitely.
Yeah, Praveen, with your acceptance.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's S as in Sam, MUT, MUTYALA
Okay.
@live.com.
Sure. Right. I'll be in touch with you. Mail.
Sure. Yeah, let us share.
This is Babu Kurada.
Okay. Hi, Babu.
Thanks. Thanks, Suresh. Thanks, Praveen.
No problem, guys.
Okay. You have a great day. Bye.
Have a great day, guys. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Praveen. Bye.